All right, so let's begin the show, and it's going to be insurance that we are going to talk about and various aspects of insurance. But then let's begin with an insurance cover for all the students studying abroad. If you are a parent and if you are planning to send your kid abroad for higher education, how should you be covering your kid with the right kind of insurance policy? And also, we will be focusing on policies related to cancer or other critical illnesses, all of this. And for that, I have Amjad Khan, Executive Director, Employee Benefit Practice, International Business, Anand Rathi Insurance Brokers. Amjad, good evening and welcome to the show. So we've been seeing a series of international studying insurance covers which companies are launching, especially for students. I would like to understand in terms of a health insurance policy that they might have in India also, how different would be this specific cover that covers you if at all you're going abroad for higher education?
Kavita, good evening and thank you for inviting me to your show. Yeah, coming back to insurance policies, health insurance policies covering Indian students studying abroad, we've got to understand that usually there were two kinds of products earlier. If you go back in the past pre-pandemic times, one was an insurance policy which covered their travel to those countries, and second was a health insurance cover which was required while the student was studying in that particular country. Now, what we see today is a lot of hybrid policies which combines both of these. But if you have to compare them to a normal group health policy, now group health policy in India will cover your inpatient hospitalization, whereas the group travel policy along with the health insurance benefit abroad will cover, obviously it will cover the inpatient hospitalization in case if it happens in that country. But apart from that, it also covers a lot of transit and travel risk, which is like a baggage risk or your document risk or any kind of hospitalization or accident which might happen for the student during those times. So that's how it's different. And from a price perspective, Kavita, it's very, very different because in India, the health insurance is far cheaper than what you might get in foreign countries. So there's a big differentiator which is on the table for parents whenever they have their child going abroad for studying. They got to look at it because the price could vary anything between 5 to 6 times of what they might incur if they had to buy the same policy abroad.
Plans that we are discussing over here are Tata AIG Student Travel Guard, Bajaj Allianz Student Elite Plan, Royal Sundaram Travel Secure Student Plan, and Care Health Student Explore Plus. What are the common benefits or features, if this is the plan that you have over and above your health insurance plan, which is specifically for your child who's studying abroad? What could be the distinguishing features in these plans then?
So, Kavita, to start off with, one thing we got to decide the geography, because your premiums will depend on that. So, if your child is studying in US or Canada, his premium would be very different than a kid studying in the United Kingdom, right? So, geography decides the price. Along with geography, another important factor is what is the medical cover limit you choose for. So, on an average, 100,000, that is $1 lakh, is what must be chosen as the bare minimum adequacy cover for covering the health incidences which might happen in that particular country. But now, if we move from these two aspects, we look at the coverage in detail. As I said, in these policies, the differentiator is trip-related risk, which is like a trip cancellation or a delay or a missed connection. All those things are covered under the policy, especially under the trip-related risk which you have. Other things like baggage risks are also there, delay in baggage, loss of passport, all those things are also covered. And now the most important element is the health insurance which the child has in those countries. So any kind of inpatient hospitalization would be covered because of this policy. You also have additional coverage like dental treatment, personal accident, medical evacuation, emergency evacuation, even repatriation of mortal remains. These aspects are also covered under the medical policy. And apart from these basic core coverages, you also have certain extensions under the policy, like you can have a health checkup done, cancer screening done. You can also opt for a pre-existing disease ailment under this, which makes everything covered from day one. You also can add accidental death and dismemberment, study interruption due to any political risk or social unrest in that particular country. So that will cover the additional days which the child has invested in that particular country. So these are the further add-ons which are key whenever you buy a policy. But broadly, the first three risks, apart from your health insurance, would be your trip-related risk, your baggage risk, and obviously choosing the right sum insured based upon which country the student has gone to.
So also, Amjad, since it depends on the kind of geography you've decided for higher education, what could be an approximate premium amount, talking about places like UK and Australia, where students usually prefer going, US?
Okay. So if I have to compare US and Canada, because that falls under a separate bracket altogether, the premiums could range from anywhere between 10,000 to 45,000 Indian rupees per mandated local health insurance, right? Which is very expensive. And as a consumer, you don't have a choice. You have to buy that. So in that scenarios, what we do is we recommend to buy a basic coverage in that particular country and then add on these top up and riders, which you mentioned, which gives you the comprehensive benefit and yet at a lower cost. So you can definitely add on these riders onto the main plan, which you have bought locally, if that country or that university demands for such kind of a mandate. But otherwise, these riders can very well be put onto a overseas health insurance plan.
Amjad, what about the process of settlement, be it a rider or a comprehensive plan that you've bought? What will be the process of settlement? Also, because you're dealing with a different currency. So, what could be the technicalities that one might face?
So the process of settlement is pretty simple here. You have a toll-free number along with toll-free number is there given for under your policy terms and conditions. So whenever you call that toll-free number, you have a designated person who will be in charge of the entire incidents which has taken place. Now, the mandate with the insurance company wants is the moment there has to be a call registered with the insurance company within 48 hours of the incident, or probably 7 days of that incident via an email. So that's where the liability for the insurance company kicks off. In terms of settlement, the settlements will obviously happen in dollars since the student is abroad. And if you look at the medical part is a cashless part, right? So these are global networks of hospitals which come under different entities, like a Cigna as a very wide network globally. You have United Healthcare Group, you have Mayfair. So these are big network bodies across the world which have hospitals within the network. So except the medical, because medical is completely cashless. That simply means the student does not have to pay a single penny out of his pocket unless he has some conditions open in his policy. Otherwise, the baggage, the transit, all those risks are reimbursed in terms of dollars because that's how the policy is defined. So the payout would happen in dollars in those countries.
So just quickly, one last question on this topic. What should be your checklist before going for either a rider or a comprehensive plan for this particular purpose?
So you got to ensure a couple of things whenever we decide for a student overseas travel come a health insurance plan. One is we have to be very about the fact that what should be the sum insured limit. So as I said, $100,000, that is $1 lakh is the median which is recommended. But I would say if you are in US, Canada, your limit should be anywhere around $500,000. To simplify that, it would be $5 lakh what I'm talking about. And for any other non-US Canada country, it can be around between $100,000 to $300,000. So that is the adequacy level, seeing the cost of hospitalization and cost of healthcare in these countries. So that's one thing. And then trip-related costs and your baggage-related costs, these are the two things which you should definitely cover. While doing so, we should not forget the add-ons like personal accident, medical evacuation, emergency evacuation, repatriation of mortal remains, financial emergency, daily allowance. So these are very smaller aspects when you decide a policy, but in case the incident happens, these play a very vital role in terms of helping you support financially in that particular country.
All right, so this was all about buying a health insurance plans for students studying abroad, but then let's move on to a different topic or another topic of insurance, which is having a cancer policy. Amjad, the big question over here is, do one really needs to have a separate cancer protection plan, cancer protection policy, or just having a critical illness cover on your basic health insurance plan could be enough?
So, Kavita, critical illness is a great rider to have onto your existing health insurance plan. But what we are seeing in the last 10 years, if you look at the statistics, the hospital data, the number of cancer cases are growing, right? So that is on a very high rise. And the cost of cancer, it's not a one-time hospitalization, it's a recurring cost. And that's where the cost of hospitalization under a cancer care, you cannot predict at what end it will fall. So that's why even a 20 lakhs might be insufficient. And that's why you see insurance companies coming up with exclusive cancer health insurance plans, which has a limit of almost 1 crore, 2 crore, even 3 crores as well. So from that perspective, I think as per the changes happening in our country and the incidence rate on cancer rising, people should look at an independent cancer health insurance plan as they go ahead.
All right. So let's dive deep in specific cancer insurance health policies. So we have a couple of them, the names given by you: Bajaj Allianz, Healthcard, Platinum, HDFC, Ergo, Optima, Secure, Tata AIG, Global Combo, and Manipal Cigna Prime Advantage. So these are specific cancer insurance policies, and these are to be taken if you are diagnosed with cancer. Can these policies be taken?
No. So firstly, an insurance company will not allow you a policy if you're already diagnosed with cancer, because one thing very important to understand is these policies are high, it's less frequency, but high intensity in terms of impact of claims, right? And that's where the sum insureds could range from 1 crore to 3 crore. So anybody who is diagnosed with cancer surely cannot be a part of this policy. And secondly, if you have bought a cancer insurance policy,
Be it any stage and be it any kind of cancer, if it's already diagnosed, you will not get it.
You'll not get it. That's
even
right.
After a certain amount of waiting period, because in certain type of cancers it might just not relapse. So even then you will not get it.
So if you are cancer free and a doctor certifies that, then you can be issued a policy. But whenever you get a policy issued,
but that has to be under a very strong underwriting. That has to come with a very strong underwriting then.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah, please carry on. Okay.
So yes, yes, obviously a very strong underwriting, but as I was saying about the waiting periods, even if you buy a new cancer insurance plan, there is a waiting period of 3 years. Depends from company to company. Some companies give you for 2 years, but in case if you're diagnosed with cancer before the 3 years waiting period, that claim would not be admissible as well. So it's always better to buy at a younger age, probably 30, 35 should be the right age to get an independent cancer insurance plan.
Can someone who's been diagnosed with cancer come under a family floater health insurance? Because we get a lot of these kind of questions.
So currently, Kavita, these plans are independent and individual policies. But as I said, as the incidence rate changes in the country, we will eventually see that you'll have a family being covered in the cancer care program. But if as of today, it's an individual policy which you can take.
Amjad, the question was, in a general family floater health insurance policy, can a person who's diagnosed with cancer get the coverage?
So if you've taken the critical illness rider, yes.
Okay. Even after being diagnosed.
Sorry, Kavita, I missed you.
Even after being diagnosed.
Yes.
Okay, then you can add a critical illness rider to your existing family floater and not even an individual health policy.
Yes.
Okay.
A small correction, I think I didn't hear you properly, but you said even after diagnosed. So no,
yeah.
if you are diagnosed, then you cannot add a critical illness cover.
Okay. All right. So that's an important clarification. Okay, let's come down to these specific cancer insurance policies. So the sum assured is usually in crores. Obviously, that's needed. So what's the kind of premium that you might have to pay, or it depends on the kind of cancer we are dealing with?
So it's not about the cancer you're dealing with, Kavita, because it covers broadly most of the cancers except a few. I can name them as we go ahead. But your premiums would range from anywhere between 20,000 to 40,000, depending on what are the kinds of add-ons you've taken, what is your sum insured, and which insurance company. So that's the approximate range of the premiums.
What kind of cancers are not covered under the cancer insurance policies also?
So under these policies, skin cancer is obviously not covered, and any cancer which arises out of sexually transmitted disease or exposure to nuclear or radiation kind of an atmosphere, or any cancer which is congenital or maybe a pre-existing condition, these would be denied under the policy.
So Amjad, what kind of treatments and what is the coverage breakup as per these specific policies?
So, Kavita, these policies will cover all your costs, which includes the hospital stay, radiation, chemotherapy, surgery, medications, prosthetics, and any other associated treatment around this. In fact, some of the policies extend an add-on where you can probably add an Ayush benefit, an alternate line of treatment, if that is admissible under the policy. So these add-ons can also be taken. There are some insurance policies which give you a worldwide cover. So if you want to get your cancer treated globally, you can opt for that as well.
Amjad, can senior citizens take this policy?
Senior citizens can take this policy unless if they have been cancer free, but
Okay.
as you mentioned previously, if they've been diagnosed, nobody can take it. Doesn't age does not matter.
Yeah.
But yes, senior citizen can very well take this policy with a waiting period of 3 years.
All right. So looking at the entire insurance plan, that one needs to have a life insurance, a health insurance, and is a critical illness rider must, or a cancer insurance plan specifically must?
So I think the least we can do is to ensure that we have a critical illness rider.
Sure.
But if you have an independent cancer insurance, I would say it's a very proactive approach to look at healthcare.
All right, so that's the take coming in. Thank you so much, Amjad, for being on the show and helping our viewers with all these very crucial topics on insurance, which is a very critical aspect of financial planning also. Thank you so much for being on the show. We'll take a quick break, but then post that, let's understand investor profiles and investor personalities based on which you get to decide your investment strategy. After this break with Nirav Kakera.